Hello, and welcome to the IC Square chapter SECON International. My name is Prabha Jha, and I am I'm an associate director with Verizon, and I'm here really honored to be one of the speakers at SECON International, and we'll be sharing a very interesting topic here, very relevant, I would say. I'm going to share my screen real quick. Here we go. So the topic that I'm going to discuss here and bring up is about thinking like a social engineer and getting ahead of them. So while we are all kind of familiar with what is social engineering, my goal here is really to leave you with not just understanding of what social engineering is about, but also some very interesting angle on a case study that I have incorporated, and also leave you with some tricks and being mindful about how do you get ahead of them? How do you really understand how the social engineering are exploiting a very human element? So without further ado, let's get started. So we have to start fundamentally with the understanding of who are social engineers. Social engineers are those who exploit one of the weaknesses that are found in every organization. That's how human psychology defines social engineering. And they use in real life, they're using phone calls, emails, and other media, other techniques to trick people into handing over access to their organization's most critical assets, and sometimes their personal information as well. It's not limited to organization, although we are going to talk more from the case study perspective on how it may happen with organizations. How do they do that? There are some basic methods to this. One of them is pretexting, is where you focus on creating a good pretext, like a fabricated scenario. Then you set up a bait. So you promise, the social engineers promise an item or a good that malicious actor used to entice the victim. Phishing. Phishing is usually a method where they use a short link or email, and then they also may incorporate threat, fear, and a sense of urgency in an attempt to manipulate the user and getting them to respond quickly. Because that's where the brain fails. When you are under that pressure, you are going to lose attention and you're going to be, and there could also be quid pro quo. So that's a promise of a benefit in exchange for an information. Why do they matter? So this is based on the DBIR report and some of the key takeaways when on the evolving threats. 85% of all breaches involved the human element, and 36% of these breaches involved phishing, 11% in more than the previous year, and these numbers are incrementing every year. 10% of all the breaches involved ransomware, which doubled in last year's frequency. And again, as we continue, we see that uptrend. So this is based on 2021 data breach investigation report, and we have seen just a trend that keeps on going upwards. So what else is happening? What else that matters? Um, Especially in COVID, as we went remote, we trusted technology a lot more. Remote work provided opportunities for more cyber attacks. I'm focusing on 2021 data because it shows that surge during COVID. How? We had more unsafe environment. Companies were in rush to open up venues and allow telework. Did we really have time to choose between keeping the lights on, providing the services, or safeguard our network? It was really a big struggle to make sure that we are able to get there in a very short period of time. Personal devices entered the workspace like there was no tomorrow. And shadow IT. We have many business units across companies and also organizations that has capabilities to spin up their own environment, manage their own instances, or even go out there and get a SaaS service and have MSA for even IaaS and platform as a service. So creating these shadow ITs where the business objectives is way higher than really securing what is on that platform and human error. Can we ever escape that? Also, as Nicholas Bloom from Stanford Economist noted, lonely workers were more likely to click. And with COVID and the social alienation, there were lonely workers. And without that social interaction and ability to question, those pressure and that psychological exploit has more venues. Since the outbreak of pandemic, 75% of people said they feel more socially isolated, according to Harvard Business Review. Phishing campaigns went exponentially up during the pandemic. Social issues, economic issues, political issues, you can name it. So here we go. We are going to put that bad girl hat on. Third party sales agent social engineer. So we are going to discuss a case study where as a company of any size, or even as you are a customer working with third party sales agent, who can get social engineered. So we will go discuss about it in a flow. And as you see, there are these support group at a third party vendor, and we have this picture of a flow as you are thinking through. Here I am, the bad girl or the hacker, and I make a call to somebody who is a sales agent at a third party. And we tell them, hey, I work in the IT department, and as I work on an upgrade at your computer, why can't you go and have some coffee? So they pause, and meanwhile, I have access to whatever they were working on, and they actually hand it over to me. It may sound like a very simple or very stupid thing that can happen. This is a real scenario that happens today at multiple third party sales agent and service providers from multitude of venues and actors. So as I provide this basic picture, I do want to ask you, what type of social engineering attack was this? And we shared few examples as we started on. So I will leave that question out there for you to think about, while we also think about putting that bad girl hat on to crafting a phishing attack on social media. So here are some of the things that I will go look for if I want to do phishing attack. I want to know the name. I want to know age, gender, location, their interests, the check-ins. I can find out who the family members are. I can also see what profession they have. I can also see the preferences around bank and payment method used. And it is very easy to find all this information and a lot more. So here I take an example of somebody who is Jim Baker. He's in 20s. Oh, well, she's a female from Canada who likes skydiving, lives in Brooklyn, New York. Well, lives in Canada, but checked in Brooklyn, New York. Has two dogs, has fitness, interest, and trainer. And they complained on PayPal social media saying, oh, your service sucks. But they also recommended Alaska Airlines over United, saying, great service after the fiasco at airport. So long, United mileage membership. Wait, they said they also work as a reseller for Verizon. Let's go fishing. Once we have all this information, what are all the different techniques used by social engineer when drafting this phishing email? And here are some examples. Now, as a bad girl here, we are going to craft this email saying, hey, Jim, we care for your well-being as an agent. We have partnership with United Airlines and PayPal, and we are going to offer you 100% refund on all travels. Log into Verizon, and then you will be routed to validate your PayPal credentials. They confirm the United Mileage Plus account, they upload their itineraries for the claim, and there you go. We create this logo to say Verizon refund, and we are going to refund your money that you had because your, services sucked. This just happened, and very simple. In minutes, we can scrap all this information and get it out there. How can we get ahead? First of all, we start with not taking things at their face value. We also have to be curious. Ask questions. Am I being pressured to act in a rush, in a hurry, in a haste? Am I certain the person is who he or she claims to be? What are the potential ramifications if this is a social engineering attack? Always, always question. And what if I fall for it? What am I providing? Asking that question. Do your due diligence. Because social engineers are savvy and persistent and really prepared. So be ready and willing to do your own digging. Beat them at their own game. Don't be afraid to say no. They exploit people's nature to be accommodating and avoid awkward conversation. When they get you on the call and they're creating that pressure, they're trying to get you to that emotion, which is, I want to be helpful. And it is okay to be paranoid, especially if it is a faceless communication. Be paranoid. Emails, SMS, phone calls, social media posts, all of this can be absolutely not who they claim. What can we do as the technologist within our companies for our customers? What can we do? We can drive a culture of awareness. We can stay on top of our vulnerabilities out there, managing those vulnerabilities real time, avoiding anything that's end of service life, unpatchable, or unsupported, asset management, making sure the cyber defense tools are deployed on the asset. Even if somebody gives up their credential, there are ways to protect data exfiltration. Security by design, shift left. Here are some references, and I hope you had a wonderful time joining the session today. And thank you so much for participating in Thinking Like a Social Engineer. And I hope you will be able to take some of these learning back with you. Thank you very much.